What up, world? Welcome to another episode of the BrandonJaneauShow. As you know, I am BrandonJaneau, and like always, on all podcast platforms, everywhere, BrandonJaneauShow. Social media platforms, Instagram and Threads, BrandonJaneauShow. BrandonJaneau, I should say. Sorry. BrandonJaneau on Instagram and Threads. Facebook, The BrandonJaneauShow. And of course, TikTok, BrandonJaneauShow. I do have a Twitter, X. Um, BJanu is my Twitter, my X. So go there, subscribe, follow me on all those social media platforms. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Brandon Janu Show, man. Shout out to everybody that has been watching the clips, looking at the clips, commenting, man. I just got recently over 200 followers, subscribers on YouTube. So I guess my shorts are a little longer now. It's like 3 minute shorts and stuff. So I don't know who has been subscribing, who's been commenting, man. But I truly, truly, truly appreciate y'all, man, and thank y'all for following me, and I appreciate it. Truly, truly. It's Tuesday. I know a lot of people are running around ripping their heads off chickens right now, trying to go to election boot. Thank God I voted already. It's over. It's done. It's put in the box. Um, but it's Tuesday. It's election Tuesday. I don't give a fuck because let's be real. Who gives a fuck? Um, um, but it's Tuesday, so you already know. It's I Bleed Sports. Tonight is the first real college football rankings. We will find out who the committee has selected for the first 12 teams to enter into the playoffs. Who gives a fuck? But let's be real. You care about mine. Let's be real. You care about mine. My shit is better. Let's be real. My shit is way better. My shit is way better. My crazy six, of course, is a part of this. My eyes on college football. Of course, I got the NFL. Last night was crazy. The trade deadline has been nuts. I will be talking about some of that trade deadline that is going on. Um, my big four in the NFL, of course, my levels of warning in the NFL, and pretty much what's going on, man. It's going around in sports. Like this. Let's start it off like this. Basketball. So, NBA has been in the full swing now. And first off, Greg Popovich, um, prayers up for you. Greg Popovich will not be on the sidelines for a long time. He had a health scare, I think they said Saturday. Greg Popovich is one of the greatest head coaches to ever do it in the NBA. He's an institution in San Antonio. Thank Bill Belichick in New England. That's pretty much Greg Popovich. You know, he's not going to be on the sidelines this for most of the season because of this health scare. Um, it sucks to not see him on the sidelines coaching Chris Paul and Victor Wembanyama this year is gonna suck. Everybody knows I had high hopes for the Spurs this year. I still do. It's the beginning of the season. Anything can happen. Still early. Um, but yeah, man. Prayers up for Greg Popovich, man. Hopefully it's not too substantial. Maybe one. Hopefully you will be coming back at some point during the season, hopefully. Um, yeah, man. President Greg Popovich, man. Um, Listen, that's the thing, right? This is the thing about basketball that is being talked about a lot, and that is ratings going down. And basketball doesn't have that urgency it used to have. I know they did the NBA playoff, the NBA in season playoffs. I think it starts next week, if I'm not mistaken. Um, what is wrong with basketball cannot be fixed right now. It can't be fixed. You have to get young people in the game that actually wants to be in the game. When you have most of the league only playing basketball because they best friend or their brother or somebody told them like you're really good at that. You should probably stick to that. They never took it serious. You got a lot of kids, and I don't blame these kids that got trainers and all this other shit to that. Because at the end of the day, you can have a trainer, you can have all this shit, but what you don't have is the commitment. You don't have the actual. You got the talent, but you don't have the grit and the grind to actually physically go out there and do what the fuck you need to do. Like that's the problem with the kids today in the NBA. It's like this is why I say you can see it in Anthony Edwards when he plays. He plays with aggression. He plays with this I gotta take your fucking head off your shoulders on this basketball court. He plays with a sense of urgency. A lot of these kids don't play with that no more. And the NBA is very always shaky nowadays. I remember it was a time where the NBA was just as I would say just as, but it had the same potential of the NFL. It had a feeling towards it. I don't know what's happened in the last couple of years. I do not know. The NFL has continuously moved past sports and been the biggest juggernaut in sports, and basketball just doesn't feel like that anymore. Maybe it's because a lot of these fucking players are fighting with motherfuckers in the media. The fuck are you doing? Kevin Durant and Stephen A. Smith are going back and forth. I don't know what the fuck it's for. Stephen A. Smith and Kevin Durant has been going back and forth for years. It all started with Kevin Durant joined the Warriors, and Stephen A. Smith said, Kevin Durant, that is the weakest fucking move I've ever seen in my life. And they've been fighting ever since. My feeling on this has always been like, man, listen. Do I think Kevin Durant is talented? Yes. Do I think Kevin Durant is one of the greatest scorers in NBA history? Yeah. Where Kevin Durant lacks in the senses of what I can't put him in the same conversation as Kobe's, the LeBrons, shit, even Tim Duncan's or Dirk Nowitzki's. As good of a scorer he is, he's not this quintessential leader. He's not. He's not a leader, man. He's good at what he can do. He's a scorer. But this is why I say that I don't trust the Phoenix Suns this season. I don't care how good Phoenix looks in the regular season. At some point, they have to be. They're gonna need a person that steps up in the locker room when shit goes left, and I don't think they have one. Because the damn sure ain't Kevin Durant, because he wants to be, exonerated from the problems of the team. I love Kevin Durant as a player, but let's be real about this shit. The only difference between Kevin Durant and let's say Kawhi Leonard is that Kevin Durant actually plays a little bit more. That's it. No problems with the situation at hand, but I think people give Kevin Durant too many passes because he is so great at scoring, because he is so great at the abilities that he has. His talent is unrivaled. It's fucking incredible. But I think we give him passes because of that, and not because he actually is a leader of the team. Now I'm not here to defend Stephen A. Smith because Stephen A. Smith be doing sometimes he just be saying shit and you don't believe what the fuck he be saying at fucking all. But Kevin Durant has this feeling of I gotta always defend myself in the eyes of the media. Fuck the media. Fuck the media. Your game speaks for itself. It feels like you're trying to always win the media's affection, and you're never going to get it. There will never come a time where you're going to be the media's darling, Kevin Durant. You've lost that a long time ago. But instead of you knowing that and feeling that and understanding that, it's like you're forcing people to try to defend you. I think Kevin Durant's one of the greatest players of all time, but at the end of the day, I don't look at him like I look at Kobe or or Steph. Kevin Durant's been surpassed by a lot of people on the Mount Rushmore of basketball players. Nobody wants to say that shit, so I said Kevin Durant's been surpassed by a lot of fucking players in my eyes when it comes to basketball. As great as Kevin Durant is, he's never been on a team where I felt like he was the true spokesman of the team. or he was the true guy of the team. My favorite player of all time, I always say this, one of my favorite players of all time is Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller put the Indiana Pacers on his fucking back and made the Indiana Pacers a fucking team. A credible franchise. I don't feel that way with Kevin Durant. Now, some people say, well, he did that with OKC, but he had Russell Westbrook, he had James Harden, he had Serge Ibaka. He had other people than just like he had other fucking people. Name me one person Reggie Miller played with in Indiana that you felt was like that. Russell Westbrook type. Mark Jackson, and that might be it. That might be fucking it. That literally might be the only person. I'm not bashing Kevin Durant, but this fake ass emotional ass shit he does every fucking season when somebody tells him they don't like what he does sometimes. It's fucking annoying. It's fucking annoying because at the end of the day, bro, instead of you just going out there and prove them fucking wrong and lead a team to a championship, what the fuck do you do? That right there is also one of the problems with this fucking generation of basketball players. You niggas move off of emotion. Fuck that shit. Michael Jordan was a killer. Michael Jordan was a bona fide shut you the fuck up player. You think I can't do this? Okay, I'm gonna bust your ass on the court, and I'm gonna make sure you know I bust your ass on the basketball court. There's none of those players nowadays. None of them. They don't have it. Like I said, as much as I respect Kevin Durant as a player, this fucking getting mad at the media shit like you always do is kind of stupid, bro. Let it fucking go because, bro, you're more closer to the end of your career than the beginning. Stop fucking arguing with Stephen A. Smith. Who gives a fuck about what he says? But that shows you he can still get to you because you are emotional as fuck. So the last couple of weeks, I created this thing called Players Up, players and teams that's going up, and players and teams that's down bad. So I've been doing it for college football. So since college football is getting closer and closer to the end of the season, I decided to switch it up, and now I'm gonna do it for the NBA moving forward. So here's my first ever players and teams that's going up, and my players and teams that are down bad for the first time NBA edition. Here we go. My player that's going up, let me keep it positive out the gate, and that's the Spider himself, Mr. Donovan Mitchell. I said this on my preview show. I said, watch Cleveland reel off at least, at least 20 games. They're going to win 20 games like that. And people going to look at it and be like, what the fuck? Cleveland's good, man. I done told you. I could have went with Darius Garland, but Donovan Mitchell hitting that game beater against Milwaukee this past week, this Cleveland's good. Really fucking good. I told y'all, man, the Eastern Conference is as good as the Eastern Conference looks on paper sometimes. There's not really a team that I fear like that in the East. Even Boston. I think Boston is going to play who they play. They're going to dominate who they dominate. But then when the playoffs come, they're not going to show up. Donovan Mitchell is killing it right now. The Cleveland Cavaliers as a team is killing it right now. I'll talk about them in a minute. But Donovan Mitchell is that dude. This is one of those players that left a situation, went to a better situation, and has actually improved in said situation. My player that is down bad this week is Joel Embiid. Now, I wrote this before he got suspended today. Um, he is now suspended for 3 games after pushing a media personality. Um, the man was talking crazy about that man. I don't. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do, man. I understand Joel. I understand. The reason why I have Joel Embiid going down, my player that's doing bad this week. This Philly team is one of those teams I said at the beginning of the season I did not trust. I thought they would be in the position that they're in right now, where it seems a little bit harder than we thought it would be. Paul George missing the beginning of the season, Joel Embiid missing the beginning of the season, having to rely on Tyrese Maxey for most of the start of the season. This Philly team is a bunch of fucking pieces that don't know how to work. And Joel Embiid, like I said, is the most important piece of that piece. But if you're gonna do what you're doing, and now, like I said, I respect what you did because the media person dude was talking crazy about you, bro. I get it, but at the same time, you take yourself out of a situation for your team. Who, by the way, I gotta admit, you just literally just missed the beginning of the fucking season with injuries that people didn't even know what the fuck you were injured for. This is a problem, man. And at the end of the day, this is why I feel like this is why I can never really put my all into Philadelphia as a 76ers fan. I can never give my all to Philadelphia because no matter how this team looks on paper, there's always a fuck up around the fucking corner. There's always a butt somewhere with this fucking Philly team. They're really good, but injuries gonna derail them. They're really good, but Joel Embiid's not gonna probably play all fucking 82 games. They're really good, but Paul George is gonna have those. He's gonna go into a slump at some point, and you're just gonna be sitting there like, "What the fuck are you doing?" It's always a Philly team. Like I don't know what the fuck it is, yo. You know how long we've been saying Philly had a chance to get to the NBA Finals? You know how long this has been, bro. We've been saying Philly had a chance to get to the NBA Finals when they had Ben fucking Simmons and Doc Rivers. This team, Joel Embiid has been in a championship winning situation for like 7 fucking years now. Like since like 2018, 2017. This man's been in a winning situation since like 2018, 2019. What was the Kawhi Leonard 3-point shot? The 2019 year? Bro, this man's been in a winning situation since 2018. And he still can't get the fuck off the snide. Bro, at some point Joel Embiid's gotta show the fuck up. I don't give a fuck if you hurt. I don't give a fuck if you miss all these games. I don't give a fuck. At some point, bro, you gotta be the reason for why your team is good. You got your MVP. Now get your fucking championship so we can shut these motherfucking critics up. Because the more you play, the more these situations happen, the more they're right and the more you do not look like you are the best player in the league, which I know you can be. But this shit is bad, man. This shit is bad, man. Keep it on a negative swing. Let's keep it that way. The team that's doing down bad this week is the Milwaukee fucking Bucks, bro. Again, I said in my preview show, I don't trust Milwaukee. I don't like Milwaukee. I don't think this team is structured right. I think it's a terrible fucking team. Nothing about Milwaukee's good. You didn't do shit in the offseason except bring everybody back that lost in the playoffs. What the fuck are you doing? You thought another year with Doc Rivers, a full year with Doc Rivers now, will make your team better, and it has not. You won the first game of the season and you won what? You lost the first game of the season, won one game, and then you have proceeded to lose the last 5 fucking games you have played. What the fuck is up in Milwaukee? Now people are saying, "Oh man, Giannis should get out of the Milwaukee Bucks." Why? See, this is the funny part about teams. People that talk shit and have these moments on TV. Giannis signed off on all of this shit. Giannis signed off on going get named. Giannis signed off on firing the head coach. Giannis signed off on bringing in Doc Rivers. Giannis signed off on all of this shit. You think the franchise fucking player is not signing off on any of this shit? Of course he fucking is. But now y'all want to sit up here and exonerate this man from the bullshit that's happening. No, man, don't do that. No, don't do that. Giannis is the problem. Just like Doc is, just like Lillard, Damian Lillard, just like the team is structured. The whole GM, everybody that runs the Milwaukee Bucks organization is the fucking problem. And Giannis is one of those problems. And that's the thing. I think people are literally losing their minds if they're sitting there trying to tell me now you need to fire Giannis you need to trade Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis needs to get out of this situation. No, Giannis, stay your ass there. You wanted this shit. You wanted Dame. You wanted Doc. You wanted all this shit. Now figure it the fuck out. I have no sympathy for players that do shit like this because y'all do this shit too much. When you see a good player, now you want to exonerate them from the team like they had nothing to do with this. No, you had signed off on all of this shit. Now deal with the shit you signed off on. You signed a contract with these fucking people. Even more so, you knew this team wasn't structured right last fucking year. And you decided to sign a fucking deal with these dudes. Nah, man. No, no, no. You're not about to exonerate him like he's not the fucking problem too. Fuck out of here. Not on the court. Giannis could score his ass off. But in the front office, when you are the top guy of a franchise, you don't get exonerated from the bullshit because you play. Well, I scored my points. I got my assists. I got my rebounds. I did my triple double. Why am I the one? No, man. No, no, no. Nah, I'm not having that. Fuck that. Nope, nope. You're just asked to blame for why this team sucks. Your stats and your numbers don't matter no more. Your team is losing. I don't give a fuck about your stats and numbers. Why is your team losing? You're a two-time MVP, an NBA Finals MVP, one of the most sought-after players in the league. Why's your team losing? Why is your team losing? You scoring 41 points, having triple doubles and shit, and your team still losing? You got one of the best scorers in the league, in Damian Lillard. Your team losing? Don't exonerate the players because you don't want to admit it to yourself that maybe, just maybe, they might have dug themselves into a hole. If Giannis wanted out, he should never signed a contract last year. Straight up. I was telling my brother Juan this today. When it comes to players and people that want to continuously scapegoat motherfuckers and then sit there and throw rocks behind your hands. Giannis signed off on all of this shit. Giannis wanted all of this shit. So Giannis, deal with the shit you created. I don't give a fuck that you frustrated. You had a chance to get the fuck out of Milwaukee. You signed a contract. Deal with the shit you created. Now, a team that's not having those problems is the Cleveland Cavaliers. And that's my team that's going up. Cleveland is undefeated. But they are 6-0, 7-0. Cleveland's that shit, man. I told y'all. I told you, man. Cleveland different. I told y'all. Keep your eyes on Cleveland. I told you. I fucking told you. Keep your eyes on Cleveland. Cleveland is a fucking good team. Cleveland is a sneaky fucking team. A lot of people don't talk about Cleveland because Cleveland is not talked about because a lot of people, again, again, you don't pay attention to Cleveland because we're so predicated on Boston, Milwaukee, Philly, New York now. But Cleveland is one of those teams that's very fucking good. And I've been said this shit. I said, watch out for motherfucking Cleveland. This is not surprising to me. If they can stay healthy, like I said, they're going to walk to the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. There's nobody that can stop them. Now you could sit there and say, well, Boston doesn't have the height or the ability that Cleveland has. If I put Evan Mobley on Jason Tatum, you think Jason Tatum shoots over Evan Mobley? Drew Holiday has to guard either Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell. Jalen Brown's going to have to guard Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell. Cleveland is a better team. They're going to get the number one seed in the Eastern Conference, and then you're going to be like, oh, I get it now. Yeah. College football. Let's get into it. Craziness in week 12 and week 10. A lot of crazy games on week 10. They're about to release their first college playoff ranking. Watching it right now. But I've been doing this for like the last couple of weeks, so I'm already into the college playoffs rankings. My crazy six of college football going into week 11 of the college football season. You already know how I do it. 1 through 6, this is how I do it. Starting off at number 1. Are you fucking kidding me? Miami is number 1. Miami hasn't moved since I put them at number 1. They probably won't move until they actually do lose. If they lose. Miami beat Duke 52-31. They got spotted 14 points, let Duke come back, gave up 21 points in the first half, scored 17 in the first half. Duke scored 10 points in the second half. Miami scored 52. Ended the game with 52 points. You do the math. What is that? 20? No, it's what? 15 points? No. Yeah, 25 points. I was right. Yeah, 25 points. Yeah. 3, 4. No. 35 points? Damn, they scored 35 points in the second half? Yeah, 35 points. 4, 5. Yeah, 52. Yeah, 35 points. He scored 35 points in the second half. That's fucking nuts. That's fucking crazy. Yep. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm not losing my fucking mind. I gotta do math. Hold on. I gotta actually do math on this motherfucker. Hold on. I gotta actually do motherfucking math on this motherfucker. I haven't done math in years. Hold on. Make sure I got this right before I start saying shit. I ain't crazy. Yeah, 35 points. Miami scored. So Miami, so Duke scored 10 points in the second half. Miami scored 35. Oh, this shit is unjust, bro. Miami's the best team in college football. I get that people don't want to give it to them. One, they play in the ACC. Two, it's Miami. Uh, two, it's Miami. And three, and people always will have this Miami's crashing a party mindset. But if Miami continues to win and they continue to dominate, listen, man, they have the best offense in college football. They have the best quarterback in college football. I could talk about Cam Ward all day. I will be talking about him on the special edition episode of Bleed Black and Gold right after this, so stay tuned. Miami is the best team in football, college football. I have said they need to dominate these next couple weeks because they need to show there is no conversation needed about who the fuck is the best. Like I told my brother Juan today, the worst thing that happened to Miami is Clemson lost because now Clemson is behind in the ACC. SMU is probably going to get the ACC championship game, and if SMU is moved up by the time they get to the game, in which certain teams are going to beat the shit out of each other before they even get there, I can easily see Miami dominating SMU. Miami's going to be the number one team when it's all said and done. I told y'all from the beginning of the fucking season. I said Miami's going to the national championship game. They're probably going to play Oregon, and Miami's going to win. You think I'm changing my mind now? Them 9-0 and don't have a goddamn team in sight. It makes me feel like, oh yeah, they going. The only thing that beats Miami is Miami. As long as Miami stays fucking hyper focused on what they need to focus on and play these next couple weeks out and go to the ACC championship game and dominate, they walk through the college playoffs. Miami's number one, 9-0. They're at Georgia Tech this week, so it's gonna be a pretty interesting game because it's a game that, again, it's a team that nobody gives a fuck about. It's a record. Georgia Tech is not really good, but it's one of those catch me games. It's one of those catch me games. It's one of them off guard games. You're on the road. You just dominated Duke, who's a really good team. Georgia Tech could kind of shock you a little bit. So yeah. Number two. Number two. Oregon. 9-0. Uh, they will have Maryland come to them. Oregon went into the big house and won. Congratulations. They lost their number one receiver though. For a very extended part of the season. I think he's out for. I don't think he's out for the rest of the season, but he's out for a good bit of the season. Oregon's 9-0, man. Oregon does not have to play another down a real. They don't really have a test until the Big Ten championship game. It may be Ohio State. It may be Indiana. Shit, it may be Penn State if everything moves the way it moves. It probably isn't Penn State. Penn State's probably not making it at all after losing to Ohio State this week. But Oregon's gonna probably walk through the Big Ten now. Um, the worst, like I said, the worst thing for Oregon is if they actually play against a team like Ohio State again, because Oregon's best two wins is a 1 point win against Ohio State at home, but the best win they actually have is against Boise State. It's not against Ohio State. People will sit there and think it's Ohio State. It's Boise State. That's their best fucking win. Boise State is 7-1 and leading their conference. And that was what I think they lost. They won that game by what, like 3 fucking points, I think. So that's Oregon's actually best win. But again, people would never tell you that. But yeah, man, Oregon is number two to me. They play Maryland this week. We shall see how this is gonna look. I'm looking at the polls. In Colorado, it's 20, and I told my brother why that it was. I was like, Colorado gonna be in the 20s. I already knew that was coming. Yeah. Number three for me is Indiana. Indiana is 9-0. Um, they go. They have Michigan coming to them. Indiana could just walk through the Big Ten until they play Ohio State. That's going to be the most interesting and telltale game of it all. Is Indiana versus Ohio State. If Indiana can get past Ohio State in the big house, I mean in the horseshoe, I don't think they lose to. I don't think Oregon just absolutely beats Indiana. I think Indiana can actually pull off the upset. Indiana has enough to beat any team. They can play offense. They can defend you. They can do some shit, man. This is the first week last week that they actually were down in the game, and then they actually showed up and actually came back and scored. Michigan State scored 10 points unanswered. Indiana scored 59 unanswered, 49 unanswered, 52 unanswered. Like it was a crazy score at the end of the game. You're like, what the fuck? Indiana beat the shit out of Michigan State. Beat the shit out of Michigan State. And you're playing against a Michigan team that just lost to Oregon. They're coming into your building. This is one of those juggernauts of the Big Ten for years. You have to show up and show out. So I expect Indiana to play their ass off. I expect Indiana to play their ass off and win this game. Number four, Tennessee, 7-1. Um, they also have a game at home this week, and it's against Mississippi State. Listen, Tennessee's one loss is to Arkansas on the road in a 5 point loss, and they had the ball last, and they just didn't have the timeouts or the clock management to win that game. Nothing more, nothing less. I think Tennessee is the best team in the SEC. Better than Georgia, better than Alabama. better than Georgia, better than Alabama. Um, Texas and them about 1A, 1B to me. But Tennessee is that team. I know they struggle against Kentucky, but Kentucky's a good fucking team. Don't look at the record. Look at the team. Kentucky's a really good fucking team. It's well fucking coached. Yeah, man. But Kentucky, but Tennessee, 7-1. Like I have said, y'all keep talking about Georgia. Y'all keep talking about this. Y'all keep talking about that. Georgia, Tennessee's that team that nobody's really paying attention to. But Tennessee's that team, man. Watch out for fucking Tennessee, man. So yeah, number five. I switched them. I wrote one down, but I'm gonna switch it. So number five is actually Boise State, and they are 7-1 versus and they go up against Nevada, and Nevada comes to them. Austin Gentry, Austin Gentry is probably the Heisman Award winner. Love Travis Hunter, but Austin Gentry is the fucking Heisman Award winner. That dude is a fucking man beast in pads. That shit is scary. That shit is disturbing. Their only loss is Oregon. In Oregon. That's not a loss. And it was a close loss. They're rocking through. What are they playing? The Mountain West, I think? They're walking through that conference. Right now, they just named them the 12th best team in the playoffs behind Alabama. I don't know how the fuck that's possible, but okay. Boise State's loss was to Oregon in a close game. Alabama has lost 2 games. I don't know how the fuck you manage that shit, but okay, do your thing. Um, and by the way, they lost to a team that ain't even in the polls. Vanderbilt. The fuck? Yeah, that's bad. Boise State is 7-1. They got Nevada. They're gonna walk through the Mountain West. They're gonna literally walk through the Mountain West. Nobody's stopping this fucking team. Um, they're gonna get into the playoffs. I hope they play Oregon again because I think they're gonna beat Oregon's ass if they play them again. Yeah, I got Boise State at number five, and number six is Notre Dame, 7-1. It's funny because as soon as I said Notre Dame as my sixth team, they popped up on the fucking screen and they're the 10th team in the college playoffs polls. That's funny as shit. Notre Dame is 7-1. Their only loss to Florida, to North Illinois. That's a really bad fucking loss. I'm sorry, it's a bad fucking loss, man. We can never look past that. But they did beat Texas A&M. They beat Texas A&M early in the season, first game of the year. They beat Texas A&M. They beat Navy. Notre Dame's got some wins on their record, man, and on their resume. And I think Notre Dame is the best team. I think with a non-conference, they're the best team right now. And I think that's the best thing for Notre Dame is that they are. Like I said last week, that's not the best thing. I said this last week. The fact that they're not in a conference is a problem. It's a massive problem for them. But the fact of the matter is, they're 7-1. They play Florida State this week. That's a fucking win. Um, that's a fucking win. And I think Notre Dame is going to walk through that schedule. The rest of that schedule is not easy. It's not hard at all. Not even close. I think the only team they have left on the schedule that's actually even remotely good, kind of good, is USC. And USC just swapped their quarterbacks out. Notre Dame is going to be the best team. Notre Dame is six for me on this. It's kind of funny we're looking at these polls. I got Indiana. They got Indiana ninth. I got Indiana three. This is funny. I don't get this. I truly believe people don't understand how good Indiana is, and I think when they play against Ohio State and they beat Ohio State, then people gonna be like, oh shit, because Ohio State's not fucking good. I think a lot of people really do believe Ohio State's better than what they really are, but you don't see Ohio State play against Penn State, who's really not fucking good. But Penn State is somehow, some way, going to be higher than Indiana, who's undefeated, and Ohio State, who lost to Oregon, yeah, but has struggled the last 2 weeks since that loss to Oregon. So I don't understand that shit at all. But Who am I? I'm like again. I'm not a part of the committee because if I was, I'd be flipping this shit up and down. This is ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. And they got Tennessee 8 in the polls. Who? Okay. Yeah. Anyway, I was on college football. Yeah. Any fucking way. I was on college football for week 11. This is hard. This was a hard week because there's a lot of games that's not really good. A lot of teams is playing bullshit. A lot of teams is not even, a lot of games that's not good. You got a lot of teams that's playing a lot of teams that's not really fucking good at all, record wise or playing wise. Anything can happen. It's college football. Any given Saturday, anything can happen. But I don't really bet my mind on that. I think it is what it is. But let's get into it. 4 games. My skeptical game of the week. My most interesting game of the week. My upset game of the week, and of course the game of the week. So let's get into it. Skeptical game of the week is Georgia versus Ole Miss. Neither one of them have popped up yet. I'm assuming Georgia's gonna probably be 2. Ole Miss is probably gonna be, yeah. So they put Penn State at 6. So Ole Miss is probably gonna be the 5th best team to them, which I don't know how the fuck that's possible because they lost to Kentucky and LSU. No, Texas is the 5th best team. Okay, I don't get this shit at all. Okay, um, yeah, BYU is the 9th best team. Texas is the 5th best team. I don't what the fuck is they doing? Um, holy shit. So Ole Miss must be the last team into the polls, so the 5th best. I don't know how this shit is gonna work. Ohio State hasn't even popped up yet on this damn thing. Oregon, Miami, and Oregon and Georgia are pretty much 1, 2, and 3. Pretty much. Yeah, yeah. I think Ole Miss was behind LSU because they lost to LSU. So yeah, but Ole Miss to me is an interesting team. Georgia's going to Ole Miss this week. Georgia's the number 2 team in the polls. Um, clearly. Um, Georgia sucks, man. I don't mean to say it like that, but Georgia's bad. I've told people for a long motherfucking time that I've told people for a long motherfucking time that there's no way in hell you're gonna tell me Carson Beck is a better quarterback than Cam Ward, than Jackson Dart, than Quentin Ayers, than Shador Sanders, bro. There was no way in hell you saw Carson Beck in that Georgia offense last fucking year and now this year, and you thought he was the best quarterback. In what fucking world did you think that was a good idea to say that? Now people are like, oh wow, Carson Beck really sucks. No shit. Georgia's gonna lose this weekend. That's my prediction. Georgia's gonna lose this weekend. Not because Ole Miss is better, just because Carson Beck is gonna fuck up the game. He's not gonna do good this week. If anybody believes that Carson Beck is gonna be this great fucking player and he's gonna dominate and he can't control a game. He's not a good quarterback. He's not. I've seen too many games this season. I said this when the Alabama game happened. I've said this for the last couple of fucking weeks. You cannot play teams and hope the team just falls apart. At some point, Carson Beck has got to be the better player. He's got to be. He's got to be the guy at some fucking point. And at the end of the day, he's not. He's not. So they have Oregon 1, Ohio State 2, Georgia is 3. I don't know how the fuck that's possible, but okay. Um, I don't get that shit at all, but okay. Um, no, Texas is 5. Okay, I don't know. No, yeah, no, Georgia. So Georgia is 3. Yeah, and Texas is 5. Miami's 4. I don't understand that shit at all. Okay, but Georgia and Ole Miss. I just feel like Georgia being on the road against Ole Miss is a very dangerous situation. Jackson Dart and Ole Miss's offense isn't the problem for Ole Miss. That offense is not the problem. Ole Miss's offense has always been good. It's always been the defense. And when you got a guy like Carson Beck who over I feel like he tries to overdo it. That's a problem into itself. I think Ole Miss is going to beat Georgia this week. I think they're going to beat Georgia this week. Not because Georgia Ole Miss is great, because Georgia's fucking terrible, man. Carson Beck is not the guy. And if Ole Miss gets Georgia down, they're gonna have to force them to throw the ball, which is beautiful music for Ole Miss. Beautiful fucking music for Ole Miss. So yeah, my most interesting game of the week is Colorado versus Texas Tech. Now, Colorado was on a bye last week. Texas Tech put off an upset over Iowa State, who at the time was undefeated. This is the best time for Colorado to finally really make a push to be in the fucking conversation of playoffs. But more importantly, in the Big fucking 12. You've only got one loss in the Big 12. That was to Kansas State at home, and it was a 3-point loss. You have a chance, man, to really finally give everybody what they want, and that is that Colorado is actually as good as we think they are. Here's where the problem lies. I don't know how emotional Texas Tech is actually going to be going into that game. If Texas Tech has a really good head coach, he can keep their emotions in check, and he can pull off another upset. Where the problem lies is this is still college players, and I don't think you will. But we shall see. But we shall see. Upset game of the week is Army versus North Texas. Army is the 25th best ranked team in the polls right now, undefeated. Um, and they go to North Texas. Army has a really good offense, really good offense. I don't know if North Texas could beat them. I don't. I know it's the upset game of the week. I have more faith in Texas Tech beating Colorado than I do in North Texas beating Army. But because I think Army feels like they have so much moving momentum moving forward, that's where you can you can get caught. North Texas is what I think 5-3, so they're not a bad team. And plus, on top of that, you're going into North Texas. The weather is starting to get a little crazy out here. You could probably catch Army off guard, and that's why I'm banking on. I'm banking on them catching kind of Army off guard. Even with that being said, I think Army could hold their own. I think Army can hold their own. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if they do lose. And my game of the week is Alabama versus LSU. Yeah. Um, Alabama comes to us. I don't trust Alabama. I don't trust LSU. This is literally the game where you either figure out who the fuck you are or you lose and just get ready for next year. I don't think Alabama is great defensively. I don't think LSU is great offensively. I think Alabama could shoot it out with the best of them, but I also think LSU could shoot them out with the best of them. Where the game is going to really come down to is what it always comes down to when it comes to Alabama LSU game: the fucking trenches. Who controls the trenches will probably win this game. Who can run the ball more effectively is probably going to win this game. With that being said, that means Alabama is going to probably win this game because LSU cannot run the fucking football if you pay these bitches to. What you actually physically fucking do. You pay these motherfuckers to run the football and they can't run the ball. This is one of those games where it's Dead Valley, it's Brian Kelly. Don't fuck it up. But 9 out of 10, you gonna fuck it up. So yeah, I won't be here to call that game. I'm gonna probably watch it when I get back because I'm going to a comedy show that night, so I won't be here to physically call the game for Bleed Purple and Gold. So you might get the episode maybe the next day. So yeah, but I'll figure that out. Maybe I won't even call it at all. I don't know. I'll figure it out. If they win, then I'll probably call it. If they lose, then I don't give a fuck. Um, so the Big Four, NFL. Oh yeah, a lot of trades went down this week, and I'll be talking about them right now in this next four teams. Um, you already know four of my favorite teams. No, I don't give a fuck about everybody else's rankings or polls. I don't really care about your rankings or polls. This is my four best teams. This is how I feel. So let's get into it. Number one with a bullet after beating their division rivals, the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau, 24-14. But really, it was like 44-14 because Detroit beat that ass. That was an ass whooping. That is the number one seed team to me, and that is the Detroit Lions at 7-1. They come here to Houston to play C.J. Stroud in the Houston Texans. Um, Sunday night football. Boy, if I had some money and I had a car that was working, I would be in that motherfucking game Sunday. I swear to God, I would. Um, Detroit this week today snagged Darius Smith from the Cleveland Browns, so they bring in a pass rusher, which we've all been screaming, go get a fucking pass rusher to help out this defense after losing Aiden Hutchinson to a broken leg this a couple weeks ago. They finally did it. They're all in. They're going all in for this team. I love the decision. I've also been like, go get a quarterback, go get a cornerback. But I like the young rookies that they have. They're finally starting to kind of feel their rhythm, get their rhythm down, packed. They understand what's going on. Detroit is a dangerous fucking football team. I don't think people really understand Detroit. Detroit's a good. Getting Darius Smith just adds to that fucking defense. Like I said, the secondary is actually playing better. Now you actually, the linebackers were always good, and now you actually have another pass rusher. I'm afraid for the NFL. I'm, I, I've been on this Detroit bandwagon, hype train, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Lions pride, baby. Lions pride, baby. I've been on this motherfucking train since they were shitty. I'm talking about Dan Campbell's second, third year bad. I saw it. I knew what was coming. I'm like, Detroit has it, man. I don't know what the fuck people are looking at. Detroit is that fucking team. I told you this shit. I've been telling you this shit since last fucking year. Detroit is that fucking team, man. Jameer Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Khalif Raymond. Now you're about to add Jamison Williams back after having 2 game suspension. Sam Laporta is now finally starting to get back into it after being injured for a while. You have literally the best offensive line in the motherfucking NFL. People that sit there and tell you Detroit does not have the best offensive line, you don't know football. And I suggest you stop talking to them. Detroit has the best offensive line in the NFL. Are you fucking kidding me? Detroit's defense is actually good this year. The one thing about Detroit's defense that really worried me last year was one, they couldn't pass rush that really well outside of Aiden Hutchinson, but they had no secondary. They have some young rookies that are actually starting to show up. Their safeties are really fucking good. Brian Branch, I still to this day do not know how teams let this man fall to the third fucking round. That shit needs to be investigated. I have no idea how you let this man fall to the third round when he clearly was one of the best fucking safety corner secondary players at Alabama. You just let him fall to the third round. Hey, look, so third or the fourth round, there's no way in hell. No way in hell. That's crazy. I don't understand that shit happening. Kirby Joseph is a really good safety too. Um, Carl Davis, Carlton Davis, who has been with Tampa for the last couple of years, who's got a Super Bowl ring. He's not great, but in Detroit situation, he fits. And then you got the 2 rookies, Teron Arnold, who you draft from Alabama this past year, and also the kid from Missouri. I can't remember his name, but yo, Detroit's ready to rock, bro. Like y'all don't understand, man. And now you just added Darius Smith, who also was already one of the best sack leaders in the fucking NFL. Get worried, football fans. Get fucking petrified. Start to get worried, man. I'm not worried because I already had Detroit going to the Super Bowl and winning that motherfucker. I really don't give a fuck. I saw this coming. I knew this was coming. I'm happy. I'm personally happy that Detroit's this good. I'm like, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. Kansas City fans, get fucking worried. This is the game. This is the team where you start to get a little like, oh shit. I hope they don't make it. I hope they don't make it. I hope they don't make it. Yeah, Detroit's number one with a bullet. Number two is the Baltimore Ravens, 6-3. They absolutely beat the shit out of the Denver Broncos, man. This Thursday they play against the Cincinnati Bengals, who need to win this game. Oh my God! If Cincinnati does not win this game, they still have a chance to get in the playoffs. People don't understand that the AFC is not great this year. The AFC is not great this year. Miami sucks, who a lot of people thought would be in the playoffs. Miami sucks. The Chargers and the Broncos are better than we thought they would be. The Colts are kind of in a weird no man's land shit. The Jets are not turning this shit around. Stop saying the Jets. Outside of maybe Baltimore, Kansas City, and Buffalo. Pittsburgh is really good, which Pittsburgh's always fucking good. But Cincinnati could catch either the Chargers or the Broncos. That's the only path to getting into the playoffs. Is one of those teams just fall asleep at the wheel, and they just give up. To me, it's going to be Denver. Not because they're not good, because they got a rookie quarterback, and you can't throw the ball past a certain amount of times. Bo Nix does not have any weapons. Cincinnati has weapons. Even if Cincinnati loses this game Thursday to Baltimore, I still think Cincinnati makes the playoffs. I still think Cincinnati makes the playoffs. Sounds crazy. I know it does, but it does. Baltimore is the second best team in the NFL to me, 6-3. I get it. The record doesn't look pretty, and it's not super crazy. The three losses that Baltimore has had: Week 1, it was a toe on the line. They lost that game to Kansas City. Okay. They led for most of the game against the Raiders, and then just shit the bed at the end of the game. Okay. And then kind of got surprised by a divisional team in Cleveland, who was more energetic because Deshaun Watson was out and they had a new quarterback at the helm and they wanted to play hard for Jameis Winston. Okay. Those are the three losses. Those are the three losses. Uh, 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 a foot on the line, saving Kansas City. Uh, collapsing the fourth quarter to the Raiders. In a divisional game on the road to the Cleveland Browns, who were more energetic to win that game. The 6 wins ain't just been wins. They've been dominant fucking wins. This ain't just a win. Like, they have been dominant. They have beat the shit out the Buffalo Bills. Cincinnati game was a slugfest, but that was what it was supposed to be. Most of these games that Baltimore's played this year has been ass whoopings. Are you kidding me? Fucking dominance. Are you kidding me? They beat the shit out of Tampa. They beat the fuck out of Tampa. Are we kidding ourselves? Yo, Baltimore is the second best team in the league. And they have literally these, they truly are the definition of pick your poison. Baltimore is truly the definition of pick your poison. Do you want us to run it down your fucking throat all day with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson? Or do you want us to fuck with you, kind of run it with Derrick Henry, and then Lamar Jackson just throw it over your head with Zay Flowers? You pick your poison. You pick your fucking poison. Please pick it. Or else we gonna pick it for you, and you not gonna like how we pick it. Baltimore is. I would say this. The one thing about Baltimore that I said last week, and I'm still pissed off that they didn't do it. Well, they did do it. They got Tre'Davious White, so they did actually listen to what we said. We've been saying, go get a cornerback. Go get a cornerback. They got Tre'Davious White. If he can stay healthy, Tre'Davious White is an LSU legend. I love Tre'Davious White to death. If he can stay healthy and on the field, with Marlon Humphreys, Nate Wiggins, and you might have to switch him to safety with Kyle Hamilton. Ooh, shit. Yeah, Baltimore could, Baltimore go out to the NFC. Baltimore will walk to the Super Bowl too. Don't get it twisted now. Don't get it twisted. So yeah, Baltimore 6-3. Like I said, they play Cincinnati this week, Thursday night football. I hope it's a really great game. Hopefully nobody gets injured and we have a really great game. Number three. They have been number two for a long time, but I dropped them down to number three because Baltimore beat them already, so I had to drop them down. But don't get it twisted. Washington is number three. 7-2. They beat the Giants 28-23. They play the Steelers this week in Washington. And boy, oh fucking boy, did they not get the best fucking trade package. The best trade deal of this week. Today, boy, oh boy, did they not get the fucking best deal of the trade deadline. Marshawn Lattimore from the New Orleans Saints. They got a fucking corner. They ain't just got a corner. They got a corner. Like, they got a shutdown. They got a motherfucker that's going to, as a Saints fan that has watched Marshawn Lattimore since he's been a rookie there, Washington, you got a corner. Holy fuck. You got a guy that's going to be like, handle that side. I got this. You worry about you, nigga. I got this over here. That is how you go all in, my nigga. That is how you do that shit. That is a fucking steal. And you only had to give up a third or fourth and a fifth for Marshawn Lattimore, who is one of the best cornerbacks in the fucking NFL. Fuck y'all talking about, man? Fuck all that talking, man. Let's get it, man. I told y'all. Listen, man. I told y'all Washington was going to the playoffs this year. This just solidified one thing to me. They going to the fucking Super Bowl. They trying to get to the fucking Super Bowl. They trying to get to the motherfucking Super Bowl, man. I still think Detroit's better. I think Detroit's better. I think they got way more weapons. I think they should have traded for a wide receiver. Should have tried to get another wide receiver. That's what I feel. But they got the best trade. Zadarius Smith is a great one. Zadarius Smith's a great one. Tre'Davious White is a great one. But they got the best fucking trade. Like because they got an actual. If he's healthy, they got an actual fucking cornerback, like a shutdown. They got the best trade. I gotta be honest, man. They got the best fucking trade. That shit. When I saw that come through, I said, "Oh shit!" Yeah, I said, "Oh shit." Yo, this is congratulations. Fucking listen, man. I told you, I am a Washington fan. I thought Washington was going to the playoffs this year. They just secured, to me personally, they might have just secured winning the NFCs. They might have just secured it because their defense was starting to already pick up. It's there, and it's there now. Their defense picked up. Their defense picked up. This is a good fucking trade. That was the best trade of the whole year, of the whole trade deadline to me. That was the best trade. That was the best trade. Not just because he's a Saint, but the way that dude plays is fucking phenomenal. And then you put him in Dan Quinn's defense, Dan Quinn's Dan Quinn's defense, which already was one of the best defenses last year with takeaways. And Marshawn Lattimore is a way better fucking cornerback than Tre'Davious Diggs, Trayvon Diggs, and fucking Deron Blaine. He can actually cover, and he could take the ball away. That's the best trade. That's crazy. That's fucking nuts, dude. And number four is the Kansas City Chiefs. They beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last night, 30-24 in overtime. Um, 8-0. They play Denver this week. Their record is their record. That's it. Uh, Kansas City's gonna probably run the table. I don't think they will. I think they're gonna get. I think they're gonna lose to Pittsburgh. I think they're gonna lose to uh, Denver and Denver. I think the Chargers gets them in Kansas City. I, I think the thing about Kansas City is they have better talent than they did last year, and they won a Super Bowl. I feel like this is still a weird fucking team. I didn't think Kansas City was. Kansas City had more losses around this time last year than they do this year. They're undefeated. But for some apparent reason, I feel like this might be still a worse team than it was last year. I know people look at the names. You look at Patrick Mahomes. Kareem Hunt is back. They're running the fuck out of Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt, I am so happy that that man got a second chance to be a starting running back in the NFL. Fucking right. They got DeAndre Hopkins now. He finally lands with a quarterback that can actually throw him the fucking football and actually place it outside of Deshaun Watson. Like, yo, you gotta realize, DeAndre Hopkins had David Mills at one point throwing him the football. This man had Will Levis throwing him the football. He woke up one day and was like, "Hey man, you gonna get Patrick Mahomes throwing you the fucking football." nigga, 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 when and where do I need to be for this shit? Like when and where, nigga? Nigga, tell me my flight plans, nigga. I will be there, nigga. Today, today, we leave it today. Today, nigga, pack the shit. Pack my bags. Let's get the fuck out of here. This nigga went from bro. DeAndre Hopkins went from Will Levis to Patrick fucking Mahomes. Nigga, I don't know if he believes in Christmas, but nigga, that's a gift. Nigga, that is a gift. Nigga, the fuck? Are you serious? You went from Will Levis, Mason Rudolph to Patrick Mahomes. The football gods was like, man, we gave you some shitty hands this last couple of years, man. Here's Patrick Mahomes for your troubles, man. Here you go, man. We're sorry. we, 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 yeah, he was like, we knew you had to play with like David Mills, David Mills. You had all these quarterbacks, David Mills and shit like that. You know, you had Kyler Murray for a little bit, but then he got hurt, and then it just yo, man, I know we had you with Will Levis and Mason Rudolph for the last couple of years. Hey, man, listen, man, we're gonna make up for that, man. Here's Patrick Mahomes. Here's Patrick Mahomes for your troubles. Like, like he probably was like, thank you. I'm like, appreciate it. Fucking right. Thank you. Yo, man, this is yeah, man. Kansas City's 8-0. Is it? I just I don't trust this team. I don't trust this team. Me personally, I don't see a team going three straight Super Bowls. That shit just don't happen. It just don't happen. I get it. Bro, if Tom Brady and Bill Belichick couldn't win three straight Super Bowls in an era where you could hit the quarterback and you could touch these motherfuckers hard and you could, run the ball like you really want, bro. There's no way in hell I'm about to sit here and tell y'all that this team is going to go 3-0, three straight Super Bowls. That shit is just unreal. Like I said, the worst thing for Kansas City is that Detroit catches them. If you play Detroit, I think Baltimore beats them if they play again. I don't think Buffalo beats them. I think Buffalo gets their ass whooped by I think Buffalo in the playoffs. No. Now if you play in the regular season, yeah, Buffalo could beat Kansas City in the regular season easily. Go ahead, beat them. When it's actually show and prove, like you got to actually beat them in the playoffs. Yeah, Buffalo gonna be watching the Super Bowl with us. When it's the playoffs, yeah, yeah, Patrick Mahomes gonna whoop that ass in the playoffs. I don't give a shit if Patrick Mahomes got a cast on his foot. If Travis Kelsey had a 24-hour Taylor Swift pass, I don't give a fuck. DeAndre Hopkins couldn't make it the game. He didn't make it to the game on time. He had to miss a quarter or two. I don't give a fuck. Kareem Hunt, was a overnight hospital stay. I don't give a fuck. Andy Reid. couldn't make it out the hotel room in time. I don't give a fuck. Kansas City's whooping their ass in the fucking playoffs. Are we fucking kidding ourselves? There is no way in hell that you saw last year and you still telling me, dude, there's no way that last year you saw how Buffalo looked in that game last year against them and they had a chance and they were at home and you still trying to tell me Buffalo has a chance against Kansas City in the playoffs. No. Buffalo don't show up when they need to. And that's the problem. So, no. No, 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 no. But yeah. Kansas City's 8-0. They play Denver this weekend in Kansas City. So, yeah. Levels of warning. Levels of warning. Let's get into it. Yellow is caution. Orange is panic time. Red is DOE. We already know how this go. So let's really get into it. Yellow, caution. And that's the Vikings. 6-2. Um 6-2. Uh beating the beating the Colts this past weekend. 21-13. Listen, man. The Vikings are weird. They're a weird fucking team, man. They're weird. They're weird. They're weird. Vikings are such a weird fucking team. I do not trust the Vikings. I have said this numerous times on numerous platforms on numerous days. They're 6-2 and don't feel like it. Sam Darnold is still Sam Darnold. You beat the Colts, who are going through their own bullshit. Your record perceives you. I don't think that you're actually 6-2. I don't think you're actually that good of a team. You play Joe Flacco. You play Joe Flacco. Congratulations. That defense in Minnesota is always going to be really good, and it's fucking fantastic. Excuse me, but I don't trust. I don't trust Minnesota because at some point, Minnesota is Sam Darnold is going to have to outplay a quarterback, and that's where the problem lies. You beat Joe Flacco. I don't give a shit. Can you beat Jared Goff? Can you beat Brock Purdy? Jordan Love? Because that's what you're going to need to beat when you get into these playoffs. And I don't even think you need to beat Brock Purdy. But can you beat Matthew Stafford? Can you beat Matthew Stafford? Kyler Murray? Fuck that. Can you beat Kirk Cousins? Can you beat Jay Daniels? Jalen Hurts? Because at some point, you're going to have to show up and dominate. You're going to have to be the better quarterback that day. And that's where the problem lies. I don't think Minnesota has the better quarterback every time they step on the football field. When you play Joe Flacco, yeah, you got a better team. But when he's actually had to be the better quarterback, he's not good. He's not the guy. When it goes beyond the X's and O's and you got to actually do something, he's not going to do that. And that's why the Vikings will always be the third best team in the NFC North. Orange, panic time. That's the Broncos, 5-4. They, of course, like I said, got their ass handed to them by the Baltimore Ravens. They play Kansas City this upcoming week. This is make or break time for Baltimore for the Denver Broncos. Either you're going to win this game or you're going to lose this game, and now it becomes a conversation of okay, we're not good enough to probably make the playoffs, but we're not bad enough to actually punt on the season. So what the fuck do we do? And that's where the problem kicks in. Because Denver's going to be in a no man's land. When you're 5-5 and you've already traded a piece and you're already thinking like, okay, we have a rookie. He's okay. He's decent. We know he can play. We just not now. We got to just get him some weapons. Denver is in that situation right now. If they lose to Kansas City, it becomes the conversation of, okay, we're 5-5. A schedule the next couple of weeks is yeah and nay. We could win some, we could lose some. What do we do? Do we go all in and try to win these games, make the playoffs? Because that's what we all want to do. Or do we pull back, say, fuck it, get the best draft situation we can get for this kid, draft a receiver, draft some offensive line help, get some more defensive help, save up the cap space, and get ready for next year. Because this Sunday is the conversation for Denver. If you beat Kansas City, you're 6-4. You have a chance to make the playoffs. If you lose to Kansas City, now is the conversation of what are you? What are you? Are you cool with being mediocre? Are you cool with being okay, decent for this year? Because decent could get you in the playoffs, but decent won't win you a game. Decent could get you in the playoffs, but decent won't win you a game. And that's pretty much what you're playing for. Do I want to be decent enough to just make the playoffs? And once you do you think you're actually going to win? No. Okay, so what the fuck are we doing? You ruined a chance to possibly get a. And this is the thing. Excuse me. There's more worse teams this season than the previous years. So if you will finish the season 7-10, you still had a chance to be in the top 10 of the draft. But because you have the Patriots, the Dolphins, the Saints, the Raiders, the Browns, the you know what I'm saying, like the Jaguars, the Titans, Carolina, like you have so many teams that are so fucking bad. You got the Jets, you got so many teams that's so fucking bad right now. You know you got a rookie. You saw what you needed to see from him. I'm not saying punt on a season, but you're in a no man's land if you're 5-5. Now, if you're 6-4, you can continue the journey on and say, "Fuck it, let's just see." But if you're 5-5, and you got Cincinnati behind you, and they're 4-6, and they're 5-5, now it's a conversation. Now we have a conversation. What do you do? What the fuck do you do? Like I said, I don't think that Cincinnati has to do all this extra shit. All they got to do is just catch Denver, and they're in the playoffs. See, the name of the game is to get in the playoffs. No matter how you get in that bitch, you're in the playoffs. And being a 7 seed, and right now the 7 seed will play the 2 seed, and the 2 seed is the Buffalo Bills. The 2 seed is the Buffalo Bills. So if you get in the playoffs and you play Buffalo, I'm taking Cincinnati, and it's not even close. They're the better quarterback. They're the better quarterback. So Denver, that is why you're a panic time, because you are in a situation this Sunday where if you win, you still could go into the playoffs, and you could be cool with going into the playoffs, get your ass whooped, and go home. If you lose, now you're in no man's land. Now you're in a conversation of what the fuck do we do? Are we cool with being 5-5? Where are we at? Or do we think we can still make the playoffs? Do you want to make the playoffs? I mean, looking at the draft order right now, we got a pretty good situation. We can either be in a, right after the top 10, like top 15. Do we punt on a season? What do we do? What do we do? And that's where the conversation kicks in. In red is DOA, and that is the Chicago Bears. They are 4-4. I wanted to see how I was going to talk about the Chicago Bears tonight, because I feel like a lot of people, a lot of people already giving Keller Williams excuses. I heard it this morning from Dominic Foxworth. I've heard it from so many people already this year about about Keller Williams already. They're giving him too much too fast. I don't like hearing shit like that when for the last couple of months before the draft, I heard that Caleb Williams is this generational defining player. If you bring him in, your team is going to be set for life. He can be this guy. I heard people tell me Chicago can make the fucking playoffs this year with this kid. And now you're giving him too much too fast. I don't know if the team has quit on their head coach. To be honest with you, I don't give a fuck if the team has quit on their head coach. I will say this: the dumbest shit you can do is bench your second best cornerback because he talks shit to the crowd. If there was no cameras around, which is damn near impossible nowadays, but if there was no cameras around, would you have seen it? Would you have cared? It's not like he didn't get back into the play. He got back into the play. What are we talking about here? See, people keep sitting there saying, "Man, if it wasn't for the Hail Mary, they would have never lost. Man, it'd be a different concept." No, Chicago isn't good. Like I said last week, people keep saying that Hail Mary was the biggest thing about the. Yo, Chicago was losing the game. They were getting ass handed to them for most of the fucking game last week. What the fuck are you talking about? Are y'all just not seeing shit now? What's going on? Are we having a hard time seeing shit now? What's happening? Do we need to have a conversation? What the fuck is going on? People continuously sit up here and give me this bullshit. Chicago was never good. They were never gonna be good this year. I don't get the the this overprotection shit. Caleb Williams is an arrogant son of a bitch. Do I need to remind y'all when the punter got drafted and he tweeted to this man, "Welcome to the team, but you won't be used this year." I've seen the punter more than I've seen his ass. He thinks he's better than what he really is. What he needs is a team, an offense that tells him, a coach that really coaches him and tells his ass that shit you doing is going to get either one, picked off, two, get somebody fucked up because they're going to try to make a play on it to protect and save your ass. You're not Patrick fucking Mahomes, kid. You're Caleb fucking Williams. You can't do that backyard bullshit in the NFL. You're gonna get fucked up. These dudes don't give a fuck about your athleticism. They don't give a fuck that you can make a play out of 30 yards. They don't give a fuck. They're getting paid just like you getting paid. Probably lesser than you. They want to make a name for themselves. You are the motherfucking target, kid. Stop trying to make plays like you're Patrick fucking Mahomes. You're not Patrick Mahomes. Even Patrick Mahomes wasn't Patrick fucking Mahomes until Andy Reid got his hands on him. Coaching fucking matters. Matt Eberflus is going to lose his job. That's obvious. But what makes me think Chicago's going to be better next year? You get rid of the defensive mind of that team. and that a defense suffers. Now, some people that's gonna be like, I don't care. You can score 35 points and then lose by 38, but lose by three because the other team scored 38 points because your defense can't stop nobody. That's what you want because Chicago's not getting better. You have to fix the offensive line. You have to pretty much retool and reform what Caleb Williams actually is. He's coming out playing backyard football and has none of the ability to understand that that's not going to fucking work. This is why I kept saying I do not see the hype with this kid. When he played top competition in college, he fucking folded. The fuck are we talking about? Every fucking week you're playing a team that's not giving up. They're gonna play hard. They're gonna come at you. The fuck are we talking about? Chicago is my DOA. They're gonna fire Eberflus at some point. But does that fix the team? Does that fix the team? I'm Brandon Janeau. This has been I Bleed Sports. Peace.